Welcome to the Triathlon Nutrition Academy podcast, the secret weapon in your ears for triathletes who want to get fitter, faster, stronger, and healthier with evidence-based nutrition. Joining me today on the podcast is Troy Bauerle, all the way from Echuca, Victoria, who's just had a smashing race performance at Long Course Worlds in Townsville. This guy is a total weapon. He did Long Course Worlds in sub 6.5 hours. Oh my God. Welcome, Troy.
Thanks, Tez. Thanks for the introduction.
We just got to set the scene, mate, because you've only just joined us in the Triathlon Nutrition Academy program, and I know you a little bit, but not heaps yet. And I was blown away. I was like, man, this guy is a weapon. He's so quick in the water and the bike, because you did that race, you know, off the back of major injury, and you didn't do any running, and you can still pull a sub 6.5 hours out of your ass. Like, that's the type of athlete we're dealing with here, people.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with it.
Imagine what you could have done if you had a solid block of running behind you.
Yeah, I suppose with the result, I thought about it later and thought, you know, I was very happy with the result. Then I was disappointed because I'm like, oh, what could I have done if I actually could have really had a crack at the run? So, yeah, never satisfied.
No, you can't think like that, though. I think it was great to just toe that start line, right? Tick.
That was always going to happen. It was just at what capabilities. Yeah, obviously I had a stress fracture that I got 10 weeks beforehand. So 2 weeks before Cairns, and then managed to do Cairns. But, yeah, I had to have 6 weeks off after. And, yes, I got 3 weeks of running in before Townsville. So, yeah, fit.
No time like the present?
No, that's it.
So you have only just joined us in the Triathlon Nutrition Academy program back in July, so only a couple of months. You're still in phase one. You're about 6 weeks into the program. And what I love about Troy is that in just a few short weeks, he is like going from strength to strength. So before we dive into all of that, how did you get into triathlon in the first place?
I was always team sports, so I never had any interest in triathlon running or riding. I used to swim as a kid, so I always had that behind me. I actually did my back about 7 years ago. So I just started back swimming again, which was cool, and I joined a swim group, and all of them were triathletes. So they like kept egging me on, come on, do a triathlon. I'm like, no way, I don't even own a bike.
Triathletes are so good at that. They're like, we do this cult, so you should join the cult too.
Yeah, and they just guilted me. So pretty much, yep, okay, I'm going to do an Ironman. So next day I'm in buying a bike that I had no idea what it was. I didn't know the difference between a triathlon bike and a road bike. So got the last one in store because it was the COVID era. So
yes.
Yeah, that all sold out. Got the last trainer, and that was it. Rest is history.
The rest is history.
So that was not quite 4 years ago.
And did you do that Ironman?
No, I haven't done Ironman yet. So the first thing I did, I booked in Geelong 70.3. That was going to be my first triathlon, but it got postponed. So I ended up doing a sprint triathlon beforehand, a local one, and then, yeah, did Geelong. And
what's the game plan? There's a game plan for you to go to Kona one day. What do you want to achieve with swim, bike, run?
I don't have the passion for Kona that everyone does, and I think it's because I'm new. I've got mates that have been doing it for years and years. It just, Kona is all they want to do. But it hasn't grabbed me. I mean, I used to watch it as a kid on TV and go, these blokes are mad. But I haven't got that real desire to do Kona. I will do a Ironman at some stage. But I wanted to get my 70.3 down pat before I started doing that. I think because running is my weakest leg, the thought of doing a marathon after the swim and bike for me is just too much to think about.
Yeah, same. Who came up with this crazy sport?
Most people get to start off with their worst leg, bike is okay, and then finish with their strength. Whereas mine is strength is in the swim, bike's okay, and then run. It's no good, so got it around the wrong order.
Yeah, you're the same as me. Strong front end. There are aqua bikes if you'd like to do that instead, where you only have to swim and bike. That could be your place that you hang out.
I was thinking that for Townsville, you know, obviously with my injury, and then I went, it doesn't feel right. Like, no offence to the people that did aqua bike, but it's just not the full deal.
It's the people you're hanging out with. I have a feeling that they've guilt-tripped you into thinking that you have to do all 3 legs, but you don't. You could just do aquabike. Erin, one of our athletes, loves aquabike because she's the same. She's a really strong swim biker and she just dominates that scene. So maybe you can play around with both.
One day.
When
I actually physically can't run.
Yeah, so you did your back because you're a plumber by trade and you switched careers. You found triathlon in COVID times, as so many people did. What made you want to work then on your nutrition? You're only a few years into your triathlon journey. Most people don't bang on my door until they're many, many years into the sport. What made you want to work on your nutrition relatively early in your career?
I listened to a podcast that you were on, started listening to more of your podcasts, and then went, I need this. I didn't realise that I needed this. I've never been told about this. I knew nothing about this. No one's ever mentioned it. I've got to do this. And I literally know nothing about nutrition. Nothing. I knew what carbs were, but I didn't know what they meant. I didn't know what protein was. I mean, they should teach this stuff in school. It's that important now that I've realised what it's all about.
It really is, because everybody eats and we have to put something in our pie hole. But you're right, we're not taught it at school. And I've done 6 years of university level study to be able to help people with nutrition. But there are plenty of loud voices on the internet trying to give people nutrition advice without qualified degrees. That's what I love about you too, is that there are lots of triathletes out there, just like you, Troy, that have no idea where carbohydrates come from and where protein comes from and are still, out there doing full distance racing or training. And there are so many things that you could do better and do differently. So I'm glad that you're here early and then you have no idea what you're doing, because already you're seeing such huge improvement with just a little bit of information we've gone through so far. So what are some of the changes that you've made to your nutrition in the early days?
Just being aware of when to eat, what to eat. I'm still grasping that without having to look at everything on the back of packaging and stuff, which I never used to do because I never knew what those numbers meant.
Now you do.
Yeah, well, I'm only new at it, but confidence is the big one. The confidence in knowing what you're doing. I was just guessing. I had no idea. So that confidence is a big thing. Like, I train a lot of hours, and it's almost like now I realise, geez, a lot of those hours are probably wasted with what I was doing after the training sessions.
And that's okay. You're here now.
Yeah, well, that's it.
And we are only just getting started, so don't feel overwhelmed with all the things, because we just chip away at it 1 week at a time.
And that's the beauty of it too, is that me not knowing anything at all, it hasn't been too overwhelming. Like, you explain things to us in layman's terms that even I can understand. So if I can, if I can, anyone can.
You've got to give yourself some credit.
No, I honestly, no idea.
So we've gone through things like recovery nutrition, pre-training nutrition, what you're doing on the bike, what you're doing on the run, and kind of setting up your day-to-day meal plan over the last month or so. Has anything that we've talked about so far been like crazy difficult to achieve or crazy difficult to action?
For me, the hardest thing is just organisation. I'm pretty time poor with training commitments and stuff, so I've just got to make sure that I'm prepared. Organised is the big thing for me, and been the hardest thing. That only gets easier as it becomes a bit more second nature with the meal preparation and that sort of thing.
How many hours do you think you're spending a week now on getting nutrition organised for yourself that you weren't doing before?
Maybe half an hour to an hour a day, maybe, not even that. More so, I'm thinking about things in advance. So if I know I've got a big training session on the following day, I make sure that I pack everything that I need that day for lunch, instead of just grabbing something and hoping for the best. It's got a purpose now, what I actually take and eat now. Everything has a purpose, and it's good.
So it's kind of less overwhelming to have a plan, to know that you've got this plan and all you have to do is just get it organised and the rest will take care of itself.
And that's that, like I was saying, with that confidence thing. Like, if you know it's right, it's easy to do. Whereas before, where you wing it, it's like, oh, I don't know if this is the right thing. But I'll give it a go anyway. Hopefully it works. We'll see. But at least now I know that it works, so I can actually do it. If I know it works, I'll actually do it. Not if I just wing it.
And you have had like really rapid results. Most people in the first couple of weeks are like, oh my God, Taryn, I didn't realize I could feel this good. But what sort of things did you notice even in the first 2 weeks that started to happen for you when you started to pay more attention to your nutrition?
Well, obviously, like I said, with the training that I do, I'm, always tired. So the biggest thing was my energy availability. And I noticed significantly in the first 2 weeks that I go to bed and I'm just wide awake. You don't notice little changes, but I actually noticed this because it was such a big change, which is, that was pretty crazy.
You told me that we were just lying in bed staring at the ceiling going, oh my God, what is going on?
Yeah, pretty much.
Usually you pass out as soon as your head hits a pillow.
But then it's all like a snowball effect. I'm less tired, so I'm training better, so you're getting more out of your training. Everything just snowballs. So it's put one good thing into place and everything just carries on from that.
Yeah, and like I said, rapid results. Like this was in the first 2 weeks. What are you doing with that extra time or energy in the evenings? Anything
Nothing.
productive? No.
No, just scrolling.
Funny. And are you finding that when you wake up in the morning, do you feel any different or do you still feel the same?
No, I feel good. Yeah, I don't notice too much difference in the morning because I'm a morning person anyway. But yeah, a bit of a spring in my step. So.
And you have a very physical job as well. You are a plumber by trade, so you are doing physical work all day and then you fit your training in the evenings after a long day of work as well. So it's a lot of energy expenditure in a day. I have no idea how you survived that before. Well, I do. It's why you ended up with a stress fracture, unfortunately. But to have the energy to do that physical work and then smack out some quality training at the end of the day is so valuable.
I just thought it was normal that cooked, like absolutely stuffed.
Very Australian term. Should we translate that? Cooked. Done like a dog's dinner is another one. Just shattered at the end of the day.
Yeah, I thought, well, yeah, you train a lot. Of course you're going to be tired. That's the reason for it. But no, that doesn't have to be the case. Especially like weekend training where it's really long. I know it's cliche and you've said it in a million times in your podcast that getting home after, 5-6 hour ride and just laying on the couch all day. And I thought, yeah, that's normal. Feeling nauseous, feeling sick, lightheaded, that's normal for a big training day. But no, I've come to learn that that's not the case.
And is your wife happy now that you're not wasting your whole weekends away on the couch and you're actually functional?
100%.
Not risking divorce anymore, thanks to triathlon.
Yeah, it can be brutal.
Yeah, funny. Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to let you know I have doors to the Triathlon Nutrition Academy open now for the last time this year. It is your one-stop shop for everything you need to nail the fourth leg of triathlon, nutrition. So you can start smacking PBs, survive the training week with energy to spare, and save time and money on the wrong advice and sports nutrition products. Our final cohort for 2024 starts on October 5th. And if you jump in now, I'm gifting you free access to my Triathlon Nutrition Kickstart course, valued at $367. So you can get started straight away and lay the right foundations with your nutrition ASAP while you wait for class to start. For all the details and to join us, head to dietitianapproved.com/academy. I'll see you on the inside. One of the things that we did before you smacked out that epic time at Long Course Worlds is a little bit of help with your carbohydrate loading plan. Now, carbohydrate loading isn't something we cover until we get to phase 2, but because you have access to me every week in Power Hours, we did that early. How did that go for you?
That was my difference. I had no idea what I was doing with that, once again. I honestly thought I was doing the right thing, but I didn't know. Yeah, it was just a hope. But after the advice that you gave me a couple of weeks before in a training session, and after that training session, during the training session, I went, oh wow, this is amazing. I've never felt so good. And I was at the end of a hard training run too, like I should have been really tired. And no, I felt amazing. And yeah, with my race in Townsville, I really noticed that where I should have been dying in the arse, I suppose, and where I always got to the run and felt terrible, like glazed eyes and just get this done, it was completely the opposite. It almost felt like I had a kick. I'm thinking, I've got to die here soon. And then you're like, no, it's not happening yet. So I put that down to definitely the carbo loading beforehand. Because Townsville as well is my longest race. That's the longest I've ever done. I've never done longer than 70.3. So I was expecting to die in that run, and it never came. So yeah, I was able to enjoy it. It was good. It was a good experience to enjoy.
It's crazy what you get used to, isn't it? You think that it's just normal to have this deep hole at the end of a race that is expected and it's normal, or to feel so tired and so fatigued all the time, to then go, hang on a minute, that's actually not normal. That's not what it's meant to be like.
You can't continue doing that as well. Like, it would have got to a stage where I might have done 20 70.3s and gone, I'm done. Like, this hurts too much. So I think this, yeah, might have prolonged it for a bit more.
Sorry, meanwhile. So where did you get your carb loading advice from before, and what was so wrong about it?
Friends. I didn't even see anything on the internet about it, so I can't even say I looked there, but I just thought that eating healthy and doing all these things that are going to be good for my body and whatever was going to be the way to go, like as you'd think it would. But yeah, I was completely wrong.
It's okay. We got you sorted from here on in.
Yeah, I can't wait to actually learn it properly. Like you said, we haven't even crossed that path yet, but yeah, I can't wait to actually do it properly and really dive into it and dial it in.
Yeah, well, you did do it properly, but I just fed you what you needed to do. Whereas in our program, I'm going to teach you like why it's important, and then how to do it no matter where you are and what stage you're in and what type of food you're eating and where the race is and what country it is and all those sorts of things. We just did it basically for Townsville Worlds based on what I thought you needed. And thankfully, we nailed it first go, because it worked, and it worked like, rocket fuel.
Yeah, it was great.
I really feel bad for whatever you were doing before, because for that to have such a huge impact, you must have done, not a lot of nutrition pre-race.
No, after what you gave me for this and that training run that I had, I'm like, oh man, I've been doing this so badly. I don't know how I actually enjoyed any events that I did. Like, I had a couple where, yeah, I finished off really well and strong and thought, oh yeah, this is good, but I had a lot that I didn't.
That's why it's so good getting some nutrition support early on in the journey, because you can listen to noisy friends and, chuck stuff on the internet, but it's really hard to get actually good advice for you and your situation. And most people don't invest in their nutrition education till way further down the track. So I think the most value comes from doing it right in the beginning, because you can set your training program up, and then as soon as you've got that sorted, you want to layer in all of your nutrition principles right then and there. I always talk about the supercharge zone, where we've got all our training and we've got all of our nutrition principles, and where they intersect like a little Venn diagram, that bad boy there in the middle is where the magic happens. We've got so many beautiful adaptations that our training program is designed for, to get you fitter, faster in whatever way you need to. But I don't understand why athletes don't go, okay, now how am I going to support that maximally with what I put into my engine? Because we treat it like just a beat up piece of garbage and expect it to still perform like this high performance machine that your training program is, and our mindset probably is, but you can't just put the cheap economy crap in and hope for it to perform at a high performing level.
No, completely agree. And like I was saying before about your longevity in the sport, I'm the type that if you're not crawling over the line, well, you haven't had a crack. So I make sure that I completely empty the tank, and I'm there. Like, a lot of people do it for fun, but I'm not wired like that. I'm very, very competitive. So that doesn't have a very long shelf life, I don't think, if you're not doing things right on the nutrition front, because like I said, those races, they hurt if you're absolutely emptying the tank, and you just get to a stage where you go, I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
I'm so glad you're not coming to do Sunny Coast 70.3 this year, because I would have my competition cut out for me in the swim with you for sure, hands down. But you just swim over the top of me, I think, to get ahead.
I have done that and I feel so bad about having to do that. It's the worst feeling.
I'm sure you can hear in Troy's voice. He's very calm. He's very relaxed. He's pretty subdued, but I reckon he's an absolute beast out on the race course. Like, do not get in his way.
Yeah, I do have white line fever. I think that comes back from my team sport days. Yeah, just very competitive. It's just the way I am with anything. It could be absolutely anything.
Oh, well, it's exciting to see that, evolve over time, because when you can get your nutrition right, who knows where you're going to get to and what you're going to achieve if you've done a sub 6.5 hour long course worlds on no run training.
Well, that's the thing too about this. I don't want to leave any stone unturned. Like, I'd be disappointed if I found out about this 6 years down the track when I go, oh man, I could have gone faster earlier. So yeah, I want to get the most out of everything. So yeah, makes sense.
It does make sense. It does make sense to me, and it does make sense to you now, but there are plenty of people out there that it still doesn't make sense for. So do you have any advice maybe for those people that are thinking, nah, I'll just keep doing it myself, I don't need this yet, or I'll do it later? Anything that you would say to those people?
I didn't want to be cliche and just go, just do it, like, just do it. But like I was saying before, if you don't want to leave any stone unturned, if you want to get the best out of yourself, if you're like me and want to keep improving, keep getting better, well, surely you've got to give it a crack. Like, what have I been going, 6 weeks or something? And I can notice the difference. And I can't wait to do a race that I've done before recently just to see the comparison. But I know already, just with the way that I feel with racing, that there's definitely improvement there, and I've only just touched the surface. So if you want to go into races and you're training with no regrets, well, you need to get this nutrition stuff right, because I didn't know how important it was, but yeah, it's up there.
And I'm pleased to say that you do know now where carbohydrate comes from. You know how to get protein. You know how to build your plate for what training day you've got ahead.
And some myths have been debunked as well, like things that I thought were fact aren't necessarily fact. Just because it's on the internet doesn't make it true.
What sort of things are you talking about?
There's stuff like what I was eating beforehand with like my meat-based stuff. There's a lot of myths around that made sense to me by watching programs that totally made you think that these things were bad. But yeah, learning that sort of stuff from someone that actually knows what they're talking about is good.
All food is bad for you if you're in some corner of the internet somewhere. Milk's bad, meat's bad, peanut butter's bad, oats are bad, everything's bad. Well, I'm so excited to watch you grow and evolve over this program. We will have to get you back when you're at the end of it and you've done your first full Ironman. What is on the cards for Troy Bauerle? What are the plans over the next 12 to 24 months event-wise?
Well, I hadn't booked in anything after Townsville because I thought, I'm going to be cooked. Sorry, use that word again.
It's all right.
But as soon as I got back, so on Thursday, I've gone, right, I just booked in Western Sydney, which is in 3 weeks. Because I felt so good, and because of the confidence I had with how everything went, I'm really confident to have a smash out another good race. So that's next on the agenda, and then we'll see what happens from there. Then after that, we'll focus on trying to go to Wollongong next year for the Olympic distance worlds. That's the next focus after. I'll do Western Sydney just for a bit of a hit out and go from there.
So how long do you think it'll be before you sign up for that first full distance event and give that a good nudge?
Well, I was having a chat with my coach the other week and talking about what the plans are. We're sort of thinking something big for my 50th. So I think that'll be the year. Love to do Cairns, Ironman for my 50th maybe.
So you want to do it in the next age group up?
Yes, yeah. Be the fresh one in the next age group up.
Yep.
Not that matters in our age group. It's just so competitive all the way through to 60. Like, it's crazy.
It's only getting worse over time as well, as more and more people fall in love with the sport and athletes just get better and better.
That's the thing that grabbed me the most when I first started was, like, I was thinking, I'm in an older age group and there'll be pretty slow. But man, and then they don't get any slower as the age groups go up. It's crazy. Some of these guys are freaks.
They've just got a long history of endurance training and a big diesel engine base that they've been building for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
You're behind the eight ball
catching
on
up.
that. Yep.
I'll get there.
But you'll have nutrition on your side, which will be good.
Yeah, can't wait.
Oh, well, thank you so much for joining me, Troy. Troy did not want to do this at all. He's done a great job. He's probably been weeing in his pants all day in preparation. But thank you so much for sharing your story. I really wanted to get your story out there because it is so interesting, but I know there is a lot of people in the same boat as you that have no idea about nutrition, are really good quality athletes, and you just need to combine the two things together and magic happens.
That's it, exactly.
Thank you, legend. I'll see you at Power Hour soon.
Thanks, Taz.